Ready?
Yes.
It's 6:30. I hereby call to order this meeting of the City Council. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We'll observe a moment of silence. Thank you. At this time, we'll have swearing in for Laura Pleshay Johnson to City Council, Post 1. Laura? Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Laura Pleshay Johnson,
Do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
my duties
my duties
of Council Member Post 1
of Council Member Post 1
of the City of Peachtree City, Georgia.
of the City of Peachtree City, Georgia.
I will uphold my responsibilities
I will uphold my responsibilities
with integrity,
with integrity,
dedication,
dedication,
and diligence
and diligence
to serve our citizens
to serve our citizens
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the United States of America,
the Constitution of the State of Georgia,
the Constitution of the State of Georgia,
and the Charter of the City of Peachtree City.
and the Charter of the City of Peachtree City.
I do further swear
I do further swear
that I am not the holder
that I am not the holder
of any unaccounted for
of any unaccounted for
public money
public money
due this state
to this state
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
or authority thereof,
or authority thereof,
that I am not the holder
that I am not the holder
of any office or trust
of any office or trust
under the government of the United States,
under the government of the United States,
any other state,
any other state,
or any foreign state,
or any foreign state,
which by the laws
which by the laws
of the state of Georgia,
of the state of Georgia,
I am prohibited from holding,
I am prohibited from holding,
and that I am otherwise qualified
and that I am otherwise qualified
to be a public officer
to be a public officer
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws of the state of Georgia.
and laws of the state of Georgia.
I duly affirm
I duly affirm
that I will act at all times
that I will act at all times
in a manner befitting
in a manner befitting
the trust and
the
confidence
trust and confidence
placed in me
placed in me
by those I serve.
by those I serve.
I will take pride
I will take pride
in all my
in
endeavors
all my endeavors
and will treat my subordinates,
and will treat my subordinates,
peers, and constituents
peers, and constituents
with respect.
with respect.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Congratulations.
Amy, Winnie, Dana, Dad, Ethan, Will. Where's Eli? Yeah. Okay.
Fantastic family.
Oh, there you go. And I'm gonna get a quick one with friends, if that's okay. And y'all know who you are. Yeah.
They got the shirts on. They keep adding.
Read you.
And now the oath of Councilwoman Suzanne Brown, Post 2, being sworn in by Magistrate Court Judge Christy Dunkelberger.
Congratulations.
Do you, Suzanne Brown, solemnly swear or affirm that you will faithfully execute your duties of council member post 2 in the city of Peachtree City, Georgia? And will you uphold your responsibilities with integrity, dedication, and diligence to serve our citizens to the best of your ability? Will you support and defend the Constitution of the United States of America, the Constitution of the state of Georgia, and the Charter of the city of Peachtree City? And do you further swear that you are not the holder of any unaccounted for public money due this state or any political subdivision or authority thereof? That you are not the holder of any office or trust under the government of the United States, any other state, or any foreign state which, by the laws of the state of Georgia, you are prohibited from holding? And that you are otherwise qualified to be a public officer according to the Constitution and the laws of the state of Georgia? And do you duly affirm that you will act at all times in a manner befitting the trust and confidence placed in you by those you serve? You will take pride in all of your endeavors and treat your subordinates, peers, and constituents with respect. So help you God. If so, please say, I do. I do. Congratulations.
Could my door knockers come on up? You know who you are. Come on. You're my extended family. Congratulations. Get a picture. We need someone to take pictures.
Yep. Always good to refresh. Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
Congratulations. Suzanne.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Dolores family voting. That was enough.
It's a mass exodus. Getting down to a normal crowd.
That's right. Are you ready? Are you ready? Agenda item number 4, election and oath of office of Mayor Pro Tem. I'll take a motion.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to make a nomination for Mayor Pro Tem of Frank DiStadio.
Madam Mayor, I'd like to second that motion.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. We'll have a swearing in. solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will faithfully execute
that I will faithfully execute
my duties
my duties
as Mayor Pro Tem
as Mayor Pro Tem
of the City of Peachtree City, Georgia.
of the City of Peachtree City, Georgia.
I will uphold
I will uphold
my responsibilities
my responsibilities
with integrity, dedication,
dedication,
and diligence
and diligence
to serve our citizens
to serve our citizens
to the best of my ability.
to the best of my ability.
I will support and defend
I will support and defend
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the United States of America,
of the United States of America,
the Constitution
the Constitution
of the State of Georgia,
of the State of Georgia,
and the Charter
and the Charter
of the City of Peachtree City.
of the City of Peachtree City.
I do further swear
I do further swear
that I am not the holder
that I am not the holder
of any unaccounted for
of any unaccounted for
public money
public money
due this state
due this state
or any political subdivision
or any political subdivision
or authority thereof,
or authority thereof,
that I am not the holder
that I am not the holder
of any office or trust
of any office or trust
under the government
under the government
of the United States,
of the United States,
any other state, or any foreign state,
or any foreign state,
which by the laws
which by the laws
of the state of Georgia
of the state of Georgia
I am prohibited
I am prohibited
from holding,
from holding,
and that I am otherwise
and that I am otherwise
qualified
qualified
to be a public officer
to be a public officer
according to the Constitution
according to the Constitution
and laws
and laws
of the state of Georgia.
of the state of Georgia.
I duly affirm
I duly affirm
that I will act
that I will act
at all times
at all times
in a manner befitting
in a manner befitting
the trust and confidence
the trust and confidence
placed in me
placed in me
by those I serve.
by those I serve.
I will take pride
I will take pride
in all my endeavors
in all my endeavors
and will treat
and will treat
my subordinates,
my subordinates,
peers,
peers,
and constituents
and constituents
with respect.
with respect.
So help me God.
So help me God.
Thank you, sir. Congratulations. It is my honor and pleasure to provide the state of the city for Peachtree City with you this evening. 2023 was a year of record collaboration and success. Peachtree City started the year by welcoming our new city manager. After a months-long search, we were thrilled to welcome Bob Curnow starting in January, and together we wasted no time in assessing our operations, staffing, and priorities across the board. Our first priority was to address the ongoing crisis in city staffing. For years, we've had trouble recruiting and retaining city staff, especially in our police department. At one point, we were down 8 sworn officers, and we were feeling the effects of being so short-staffed. It seemed like every time we got someone hired and trained, they would come to us with genuine reluctance and let us know that they were accepting a position in another jurisdiction. Based on Bob's recommendations, Council approved a revamped compensation and benefits package for all employees. We benchmarked an 85th percentile in pay in comparison with 14 other jurisdictions. and increased our salaries as needed to reach that benchmark and improve our competitiveness. Now, 8 months later, we're filling our ranks. I've sworn in 7 new police officers, and since the salary and benefits package increase, we have not lost any staff to other agencies. Our next challenge was city communications. In the last year, we've hired talent in videography, graphic design, and creative content. We now keep our citizens informed through Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. We produce a weekly e-newsletter called The Slice, and if you haven't signed up to receive it, all you need to do is go to our home webpage and click on Notify Me. Our meetings are live streamed, and meeting videos are available through our city website. Our police, fire, library, and recreation departments also all have their own social media accounts now with thousands of followers. We film Mondays with the mayor following city council meetings to keep our citizens updated on discussions, hot topics, and community events. We created videos this year for Splost, for the local elections, and now for the new recreation master plan. Our videographer right before me, Andre Walker, has already brought home 3 Telly Awards. I'm proud of the work we're doing to keep our citizens informed and our operations transparent. If you want factual information, the city is your source. And word is getting out. Peachtree City has now been highlighted in feature articles in Slate Magazine, Bloomberg News, and the New York Times. One of the articles was entitled, "The Kingdom of Golf Carts." And it seems that communities across the country are looking to Peachtree City as an example of low emissions alternative transportation as part of our overall quality of life. In March, we held the first formalized leadership retreat in Peachtree City in about 10 years. City council members and our staff executive leadership team met off-site to build the framework for a culture of respect and mutuality. We identified our vision as uncompromised excellence that dictates how we agree to treat one another and our own expectations for our work at the city. We also identified our core values as being professionalism, accountability, teamwork, honesty, sustainability, and finally, safety and security. And yes, our core values acronym spells out the word PATHS. Our next retreat is later this month, and I see this as a launch pad for team building, project prioritization, and long-term strategic planning that will help us all begin to discern what kind of city we wish to be going forward. Also in March, our citizens approved the 2023 Splost with 74% of the vote. So thank you all. And with it, $67 million for projects in Peachtree City. We've already placed on order several essential items like fire vehicles that have a very long lead time, some as long as 48 months. Additionally, we're already replacing outdated vehicles in public works and buildings and grounds. Our police department in 2023 received the very prestigious CALIA Award, an international gold standard for law enforcement agencies, for the 10th time. We added 2 new state-certified collision reconstructionists and launched a crime suppression unit. In our fire department, we successfully completed our International Standards Organization inspection, and we appointed Josh Teal as a coordinator to enhance public education and public relations. Our fire department now meets on a regular basis with elementary schools, J.C. Booth Middle School, homeowners associations, scouts, and civic groups. We're launching monthly fire safety classes in the Cresswing community starting this month. Our engineering department is working on plans for a police department building expansion to provide needed administrative space evidence storage, and upgraded HVAC. When it comes to city infrastructure, we've come to expect roads and paths in excellent condition when we drive our children to school, commute to our jobs, or visit our shopping centers, parks, and recreation areas. Thanks to the SPLOST, we've been able to reduce our paving backlog from 10% to 5%, while also improving our overall paving condition index, or PCI. Our overall PCI is now ranked the highest among our peer cities. We resurfaced 6 miles of multi-use path and added about a half mile of path, mainly near Stagecoach Road and Longboat Subdivision on the east side. We're waiting for GDOT to grant us the permit to use the Highway 54 shoulder as a detour so that we can replace the single-lane golf cart bridge over Highway 54 over Lake Peachtree with a double-wide golf cart bridge similar to the one we have on the south side of Lake Peachtree. So we're on the cusp of that wonderful project, and we're all looking forward to that. This year, we'll start the infrastructure on Huddleston Road. We'll be running sewer and stormwater to support the existing industries there. And in conjunction with new sewer and stormwater infrastructure, we're planning new path infrastructure and beautification that I hope will not only support existing business, but encourage boutique retail, small outdoor gathering venues, some nightlife, and a safe, walkable corridor. This year, we made tremendous strides in recreation. We opened a new remodeled disc golf course. We installed pitching lanes for softball at Mead Fields. We resurfaced the tennis courts and practice wall at Pebble Pocket. We built a new lacrosse practice wall and restored the building at Lower Riley Fields. And maybe best of all, in the summer, we reopened a brand new Riley Fields running track with a ribbon cutting involving about 200 runners, all of them children, some as young as 3 years old. 3-year-olds, y'all, running a half mile with a big grin on their faces. It was really amazing. At the tennis center, Peachtree City's been contracting with a company to run our city-owned facility for the last 14 years. In a surprise move in November, we received word from Invited that they would not renew their contract to run the tennis center starting this month. So Bob and staff fully engaged and immediately rose to the challenge, and they have created a plan by which we transitioned all of the Invited employees over to employment with the city. We have made this transition very seamless, and Peachtree City is now running our own tennis center. We continue to operate like before with leagues, lessons, clinics, special pops, tournaments, and other events. So you can fully expect the quality of our services and facilities to continue at the Peachtree City Tennis Center. In August, City Council contracted with a specialized company to assess our parks and recreation facilities and programs and create a new recreation master plan. This effort centers around citizen input, and we have a very important survey out. You'll see it around town, and you'll see it front and center on our website. So I want everyone to take it. This is very citizen-driven, so we look forward to hearing from you as we create our new recreation master plan. The last plan was done in 2011, and a lot has changed since then. I'm not even sure pickleball was invented in 2011. And here we are trying to find a suitable location for new pickleball courts, and we have $770,000 in the SPLOST as a start. There are approximately 1,000 members of the Peachtree City Fayette Pickleball Association, and they're waiting very patiently for courts. They're not patient, and there are 1,000 of them. So something's gonna happen. 2023 was our best season ever, by far, at the Fred. It seems everybody is turning out now post-COVID. We're loving the new lawn seats and improved online ticketing. We had 8 sold-out shows, The highlight for me was Clint Black. I took my adult daughters and we had an absolute blast. So I can't wait to see what this season will bring. In the last year, we've renewed our emphasis on tourism with new staff at the CVB and new partnerships citywide. We had a very successful Meet Santa event last month, and the CVB is now looking forward to Hops and Props event, their 4th annual, to be held in April. It's a craft beer festival that will be located amid the World War II aircraft at our airport. The CVB is also planning a new golf cart culinary tour titled #PTC Eats, and this will start sometime in the spring. Our commitment to community engagement and enrichment is evident in our library, now ranking number 2 in circulation per capita in the state of Georgia. We expanded our library hours twice in 2023, and all of our key performance indicators are up. We have a new partnership with the Atlanta Shakespeare Playhouse Tavern Playhouse that features a community ticket pass and 4 free tickets. In 2023, our library hosted conversational Spanish classes that were so popular, we're continuing the classes in 2024, all at no charge. The art initiative is ongoing, and the Author Spotlight event highlighted the work of local artists and authors, and every week we have more than 50 regular volunteers who help us reach our mission. We have a strong city budget, now standing at $51 million with an impressive 56.5% reserves, even though we feel the effects of inflation at City Hall, just like we feel the effects of inflation in our household budgets. Construction costs have increased 55% in 3 years. IT costs for things like cybersecurity and cloud-based apps have increased 30%. Asphalt costs have gone up 30% in the last 12 months. But we have not increased our millage rate in the 2 years that I have been mayor. And we are forecasting 0 millage rate increase over the next 4 years, in spite of these very impactful cost increases. Technological advancements have played a pivotal role in our city's progress with the implementation of Zen City software for citizen surveys and feedback, and the launch more recently of the very exciting Navigate PTC app for wayfinding throughout our entire multi-use pass system. We passed a film ordinance to encourage local filming while minimizing disruption to our citizens. We repaired and restored the Flat Creek Boardwalk following devastating storm damage. We've had record attendance at Night Market, Sunset Sounds, Italian Heritage Festival, Hispanic Heritage Festival, the Magnolia Arts Festival, and the Air Show. We've been recertified as a running-friendly community and as a bike-friendly community. And thanks to local volunteer citizen Keith Larson, who obtained a partnership grant with AARP, we were able to identify and mark 6 different trails in Peachtree City that are navigable by our citizens with mobility issues. Thank you, Keith. When it comes to economic development and bringing jobs to Peachtree City, 2023 was a record year thanks to our strong and growing partnership with the Fayette County Development Authority. The Danish company SP Meditech broke ground on a new facility on Highway 74 and is bringing 200 new jobs. We have so many existing industry expansions. The Fayette County Development Authority has hired a new full-time staff member to manage these important projects. CertainTeed is investing $140 million in their expansion on Highway 74. Also on deck for expansions in Peachtree City are Ceylon, Sani, Hoshizaki, Adventure Aviation, and SWI. In December, Governor Kemp announced that Gerresheimer will be expanding again in Peachtree City. Gerresheimer already employs 240 people in their facility on South 74. They will now build new on 37 acres, and add 415 new jobs in 2 phases in the near term. Gerresheimer's additional investment will top $210 million. These companies repeatedly cite our airport, our skilled workforce, and our Peachtree City quality of life as reasons to bring their businesses here and locate their families. In a huge boost to these industries, we have welcomed Clayton State University and Southern Crescent Technical College to the former J.C. Booth Middle School location, now called the Center of Innovation, or COI. Now our industries, in addition to the public, can partner with higher education for degree completion programs, English as a second language classes, leadership training, and specialized training. As much as we enjoy a review of our many accomplishments in the last year, we now look ahead to tremendous challenges in 2024. Peachtree City, we do not have the luxury of sticking our heads in the sand and announcing that we don't want anything to change, because everything around us is changing. Coweta County is developing unabated and sending their traffic our way. Fayetteville's borders are inching closer and closer to Peachtree City, and we will inevitably meet them somewhere in the middle. These factors are already having huge implications for our quality of life. In early 2024, GDOT will begin a major rework of the Highway 54-74 intersection. The Displaced Left Turn project will begin in the next few weeks with utility relocation. After an anticipated 30-month project, the new intersection will reduce the number of traffic light phases from 8 to 4 and improve the efficiency and the safety of the entire intersection. Annexation and housing will be 2 of our priority topics for the new City Council this year. We had an eye-opening presentation in our last City Council meeting in December with a Georgia State University student, Taylor Pessin, presenting her research study of the housing challenges specific to Peachtree City and Fayette as viewed through the lens of young adults in our community. Going forward, we will have to decide what it means when we say Peachtree City has something for everyone. It has been said that men lead for power while women lead for purpose. Peachtree City now has a majority female city council for the first time in our city's history. I'm proud of this. I'm glad to know we have new perspectives on council, looking out for the best interests of all of our citizens. And I am right now in the middle of my 4-year term as your mayor. In the last 2 years, I have strived, and I will continue to strive, to lead by example, to embody uncompromised excellence, and to make you feel proud of your city leadership. You won't see me handing out criticism or accusations. You won't see me posting feckless opinions online. You will see me reading to 7th graders at Booth Middle School. You will see me teaching 2nd graders from St. Paul or Huddleston Elementary how our local government runs. You will see me meeting with citizens, individuals, and groups, and truly listening to your ideas and concerns. You will see me and our new council working together in good faith with our sister cities, our county partners, nonprofits, education, and business, all to come together to bring the vision of our city to life. This year, we'll celebrate Peachtree City's 65th year, and we'll be celebrating with a shared commitment to making Peachtree City an example of innovation, community spirit, and uncompromised excellence. Thank you. It's a process. We film Mondays with the mayor. I always say, Andre, can I help? What can I pack? What can I take? No, no, he's got a system. Announcements, awards, special recognition.
Good evening and Happy New Year, everyone. It is with great pleasure that I stand before you today as we kick off the first meeting of the year, a meeting that holds special significance as we mark the beginning of 2024, and more importantly, we celebrate the 65th anniversary of the city of Peachtree City. On March 9th, 1959, our city was officially chartered, setting the stage for the dynamic and thriving master plan community we all know today. The agenda carries with it a monumentous event, the official introduction of our 65th anniversary logo, a symbol designed to accompany us throughout this year. Crafted with care, its purpose is to serve as a reminder of our shared past, present, and future, uniting us in a common narrative that binds our community together. Throughout the coming months, this anniversary logo will be a visual thread woven into the fabric of our events and celebrations. In conclusion, let us embark on this new year with a sense of pride in our city's history and anticipation for the chapters yet to be written. May this emblem be a beacon guiding us toward continued prosperity, unity, and progress in Peachtree City. Thank you, and here's to the celebration of growth and success. Happy birthday, Peachtree City.
Item 7, public comment.
We have no public comments.
Item 8, agenda changes. Any agenda changes, council? 9, minutes. December 7th, 2023, regular meeting minutes, and only 3 of us will vote.
Madam Mayor, I move that we accept the minutes as transcribed in our packet.
A second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Consent agenda items. A, Resolution 0104-2024 CA1, indemnification of public officials. B, legal organ, Fayette County News. C, appointment of Public Facilities Authority board members. D, replacement of F-350 truck for recreation and special events. E, fiscal year 24 budget amendment, replacement of zero-turn mowers for public works and grounds. F, fiscal year 24 budget amendment, fire grant. G, fiscal year 24 budget amendment, AED lease. And H, fiscal year 24 budget amendment, memorial bench. May I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I'd move to accept items 10A through 10H of the consent agenda.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Old agenda items, we have none. New agenda items, 12401, first reading of solid waste management ordinance. Jasmine Julio.
Yes, good evening, Mayor and Council, once again. So this ordinance is actually part of the Solid Waste Management Ordinance, Section 42G, our Health and Sanitation Ordinance, 4283G. We are asking to strike the subsection with its entirety. We currently have the noise ordinance that allows enforcement. The enforcement information that's listed within this subsection actually makes it a little bit more difficult for our code enforcement and police to enforce it. So we're asking to strike the entire section. We will come back in the future, at a future council meeting, with some changes to the noise ordinance to just strengthen it. But the removal of this section will not affect the noise ordinance at all. And I do want to add, this is the first reading. There's no requirement for adoption, but you all could make the determination if you so choose to adopt it tonight.
Council, it's my opinion this is very straightforward and much needed, and that we would not need a second reading. Do you agree, Councilmember Holly?
Agree.
Sir?
I agree.
Councilmember Brown? Councilmember Johnson? All right, can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to accept the striking of section of, I gotta get this right.
Why don't you just move to approve
Right.
the amendment to the solid
Yes.
waste
Okay,
management
thank you.
ordinance? Is
I move to approve the first reading of the solid waste management ordinance.
I second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. Public hearings.
Thanks, Ken.
12402, variance for 507 Pine Circle, front and rear setback. Public hearing protocol.
You thought you were done.
I did think I was done. Okay, the protocol is as read. When the public hearing is opened, members of council will become hearers. No action on their part is in order until the mayor declares the hearing complete. First, city staff will present the request and provide an assessment of compliance with city code. The mayor will then allow up to 10 minutes for speakers on each side of the issue to present evidence. No individual member of the public will be given more than 5 minutes to speak. Time limits may only be extended by a majority vote of council and will be divided equally between those supporting and those opposing the issue. The mayor will recognize the applicant and those supporting the issue to present evidence. Remarks will be limited to a total of 10 minutes. The mayor will then recognize those opposing the issue to present evidence for up to 10 minutes. Prior to closing the public hearing, city staff and the public will be given the opportunity to ask questions of either or both sides of the issue. When the mayor and council are assured that the presentation of evidence is complete, the public hearing shall be ended, and the council may then debate the issue and render a decision. All speakers from the public are asked to follow these rules. 1, please wait to be recognized by the mayor. 2, come to the microphone and state your name and neighborhood prior to making remarks. 3, keep individual remarks under 5 minutes and do not repeat comments. And 4, address all comments to the mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll go ahead and introduce the topic before the applicant comes up to add to their presentation. This property is located in the central north side of the city, shown here outlined in yellow. As you can tell from this map, it is a triangular shaped property, zoned R22. Oops, there we go. Here is a site plan of what they've requested. They would like to construct a golf cart garage that would encroach into the front and rear setback. This property may look familiar because it was before this body in October for other variance requests which were approved. Those included the existing house encroachment, the proposed pool, and the detached garage. As far as site plans go, this one is a bit busy. It's a unique lot, and so I made this graphic to try to explain the setbacks that are on this property. The front setback is a 50-foot setback in yellow, and as you can see, the garage that was already proposed or already approved by council encroaches into that, and the requested golf cart garage is actually set back behind that front line of the proposed garage that was already approved. This is a 30-foot rear setback. The house was originally built in 1969 into that setback, and so you all approved that existing encroachment as well as a pool encroachment. And then the side setbacks are 15 feet in this zoning district. And in this case, it's a very unusual lot. It has a green belt between this property line and the right-of-way, and so therefore this is considered a side setback. So the garage would not encroach any further than what was already approved, but when they came before you in October, this garage was not shown on the site plan, and so we are requiring them to go through this process again. As we do in your staff reports, I will not read this verbatim, but there are criteria required for reviewing variances that include things like special circumstances applicable to the property, creation of unnecessary hardships, extraordinary circumstances of the intended development, that it's not constitute a granting of a special privilege or materially detrimental to the public health, safety, or welfare, and will not create inconsistencies with the comprehensive plan. Staff has one recommended condition, should you approve the request tonight. That condition is that golf cart garage should be built of the same materials, roof pitch, and colors of the main house, which is currently going a whole house renovation. And the applicant is here tonight to answer any questions.
Thank you. Would the applicant like to add any comments?
I'm Bob Warner, contractor, and I screwed up in this situation. The owner asked me to put the golf cart garage on when we went through this back in October. Being busy, totally forgot to tell the surveyor to put it on, so I'm here to request we get this done. But we are in agreement with the brick fronts and the siding and everything as we originally agreed in October.
Thank you. At this point, I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who wishes to speak in favor? Seeing none, is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Counsel?
Madam Mayor, I have some questions. Would you take those at this point?
By all means.
Okay. Can you step to the microphone, Mr. Bernard? It's Bernard, is that
Yes,
pronounced?
Bob.
Bob. I'm looking at the drawing.
Yes, sir.
And I noticed that this new cart garage is going to be put in where the doors to the garage we approved on October 19th is located. How do you propose to get the cars in the garage?
No, sir. The original drawing that I had submitted, the elevations, have the garage facing forward to the street. The original driveway comes in right through that side, but because we crossed the green belt, which is illegal, we're removing it and coming into the front side. So the garage door would face forward, but we're going to use some landscaping to buffer the front of that garage to help with the offset.
So the drawings that we received doesn't indicate that. So we did not know that you were changing the direction of the garage doors on this from the side to the front. Or we didn't have that drawing.
That was originally turned in back in August or September,
Okay.
because we've never changed with the homeowner, because the way they want to do it is have a parking area in front of the house, kind of as their backup, and then you would enter the front of the garage and then you would go out to the street there, because it was coming across the green belt and we were removing that to be in compliance.
So you're intending to take the existing driveway out and
Yes,
put
sir.
one going into the front?
That is correct, yes,
Is
sir.
there a requirement of permitting, because we'll be going through, out the front of this? Is there any issues that we should be aware of on that?
So new driveways require an engineering permit, and they really just come out and make sure that the driveway won't interfere with existing stormwater infrastructure in the right-of-way, and then sign off.
There's
on
no
it.
variance on that? It's
No,
just
sir, it's
strictly
just a standard process.
Okay. Thank you for that, Bob. I have another question.
Sure.
Mr. Holland, just real quick.
Yep.
When if you go back and look at the permit with the city, with Safe Built, it'll show the elevation, that'll show the garage was always facing forward.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
That just wasn't available on the drawings that
Okay.
we received for
Yep.
this package. Second question is that second question was on the driveway, and you got that cleared up. Because you're going to be going into the setbacks again in this one, regardless if it was a mistake or not, I'm wondering, when we grant variances, we always look at, is there some other place that this could go on this land and stay within the setbacks? And I'd like you to comment on that.
Well, our problem is, as she showed earlier, this entire house, not counting the garage we're adding and the golf cart, was in total violation on the front sides and rear. And
Okay.
so what I tried to do in this particular case was looking at it on the rear setback. We're already on the 30-foot there with the city's easement, keeping it 8'9". So I didn't come back any farther to the rear. On that sideline, it's 15 foot if you classify it as sideline, and that was a question that was posed back in the October meeting, or November meeting, whichever one, that was actually a sideline setback, so it would be 15 foot. So I wouldn't be encroaching, but the front comes across it and cuts me off. So I don't have really any other place because I've only got 6 feet between the new garage to the house. If I come forward, I'm in the front yard. If I come in the back, I'm setting into the green belt on the back side. So I don't have anywhere else to put it.
May I suggest something that maybe you can comment on?
Yes, sir.
I'm going to use my point for the first time here tonight. You have this piece of land that's within the setbacks. And basically, that garage could certainly fit over here. You do have an air conditioner that would need to be moved, but that's not that big a deal since you're doing a whole house renovation anyway. My question is there any reason, to try to keep it within the setbacks, because that's really what we're trying to do, not give out variances every time somebody, makes a mistake.
It's okay.
But I see that is an open area that's a potential for that. And what's your comments on maybe moving it to that side?
Before
So
you,
we got
before you
both-
answer,
I'm
Bob,
sorry, go
before
ahead.
you answer, could you put that slide up with the colors on it, please? Thank you.
So if you've been out to the property, the elevation on that side of the house is about 5 foot lower than the finished floor of the house.
Okay?
And then the second thing would be, you park the golf cart in there, how do you get into the house? Because that end of the house is all bedrooms. And I'd have to get an elevation to get into the garage. If I go at grade level, then I've got to create a set of stairs, go through a bedroom to go into the house, or create some sort of a walkway to the rear of the house to the deck. It just isn't feasible as far as being convenient. Number one, carrying groceries. If you've gone to the grocery store and getting in the house, if the weather's bad, we'd have to create a whole roofing system. It just doesn't lend itself to be in the most, place of use.
Actually, what I just heard from you is basically there's an extra cost to do that.
Well,
In essence.
there's quite a bit of cost
Yes,
to do it.
I got
And-
it. I
And
got it.
elevation-wise, how do you aesthetically make it pleasing with what we're already doing?
Yep.
And so it's a difficult bridge.
Well, our job is
Any
to...
other questions?
Nope, I think our job is to do what we need to do to
Understand.
keep it within the setbacks, and I have no more questions.
Thank you. Any other questions?
I did actually have one question. So in your letter that you wrote, it says, have also attached a plan and elevation of the proposed addition. So if you're saying there was one submitted before, this clearly states that you would have one that would have been included with the proposed addition. Is that right?
Say that again?
So your words here say, also have attached a plan and elevation of the proposed addition. So I know you're saying that there was one before. Are you saying that the elevation that was proposed before also had the golf cart garage?
No,
'Cause
ma'am.
It says there is an elevation.
No, what
with the
happened was,
addition.
I'm sorry, the owner asked me to do it. I didn't get it done when I submitted the plan back in October. So the elevation that was submitted is the 2-car garage and the house renovation.
So even though there says that there is one with the addition, there is or isn't one?
Well, the garage is an
know,
addition
I
at
know.
that point in time.
An elevation though?
Oh, elevation, no ma'am, I didn't have it.
Okay. All right. Yeah, had we had, because it says it was with this, and had we had it, then we wouldn't have the question of the driveway. So that would have been helpful.
Yeah.
I agree, it would have been helpful. I have a different kind of a question. You do understand that the approval of the long list of variances that was done on October 19th has no actual legal precedence in the consideration of this application?
I do fully
for a
understand that.
variance.
Yes, ma'am.
And you also understand that the structure is specifically outlined, drawn, and approved, and that variance approval is not to be interpreted as any kind of a carte blanche that a similar encroachment would automatically be given.
I understand that.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
I think that's the last of my questions. I have other comments, but not questions.
Mr. DeStine?
My only question was why you couldn't have put it over in that other space that Clint has already asked you about. I think you answered that pretty well. You know, you can't put it there and able to get into the house. You've got elevation problems, you've got weather problems in terms of I mean, my garage is separate from my golf cart garage. I understand that. But if it's physically that difficult, I also understand that. It would have been nice to see this beforehand. We approved all the other variances, but, you know, shame on you for not turning it in.
And I apologize.
Thank you.
It seems to me that if this is the perfect reason why we have a variance process. I've turned down a lot of variance requests, but if this is not worthy of a variance, then we might as well just not have a variance process at all, because there is no other reasonable way that any reasonable person would construct or locate or build, and it would be better for the neighborhood to put it as shown. It would be better for the community to approve this variance. That's my opinion. Any other last comments?
Susan has.
Comments or questions?
Oh, if you want to comment.
I actually partially disagree with what you just said in terms of, I think we've seen a lot of people in Peachtree City who've been forced, based on small lots or shapes of lots, have to locate golf cart garages in slightly less than wonderful locations. So having it on the opposite side of the house where there is no variance needed, you could still go up through the garage, unload the groceries, and then park the golf cart. It's a bit of an inconvenience. It's not an impossibility. So just to point out that there are plenty of people who end up with golf cart garages built behind their houses more like sheds than, you know, as a part of the house and garage structure. And we see that all over Peachtree City, oddly.
Well, Suzanne, earlier last year, we had a request to put a golf cart garage alongside a house, and we didn't particularly want to do that. They didn't want to put it in the back of the house because it blocked their view of the golf course. And unfortunately, we did not approve that variance, and they had to put it in the back where they couldn't see the golf cart, or they couldn't see the golf course. But that was where we felt it was necessary because it wasn't a real need to have it where they wanted it. So I don't think you're totally correct. The council actually puts things where it fits and where it makes sense to the fitting of our ordinances. So I disagree with that comment. But anyway, I think Clint asked an honest question. You got a good answer for that. I would rather have seen all of this together in one time, but nevertheless, I think there's a reason for where it can't be. I know it's difficult when you can't. I mean, my wife would not like to drive the cart.
And she's here.
Yeah, she's here. She'll tell you. Pull up the front of the house and unload the groceries, and they pull around the side of the house to put the golf cart away. So I think there's reason to accept this.
Any last questions or comments, council? Can I get a motion?
Madam Mayor, I move to accept this variance request.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed?
No.
Motion carries. Thanks very much.
Next time, come fully prepared with all of it.
Yes, sir.
It won't be forgotten.
New agenda item 12403, variance for 411 Dividend Drive for side setback.
This property is located in our industrial zoning, or industrial park portion of the city, the southern central part of the city, highlighted here in yellow. It is a pretty well-developed, heavy industrial site. And the applicant is requesting to, oh, here we go. I thought this picture was a little bit better than the overhead. So here is Dividend, and there's the railroad. They actually have a spur serving the site. And they showed an area where they expanded in 2012. They were looking to, again, increase capacity at their site by proposing an 80-foot wide storage silo in this area. It would be up to 10 feet into the 20-foot side setback if approved. Here's a different kind of look at it. This is a line drawing, again, oriented the same with Dividend Drive here. And they have shown on this time the proposed silo and the encroachment into the side setback. These are the review criteria. I will not reiterate them for you, but part of your review is to consider these elements. And in this case, staff has no recommended conditions should you approve the variance. Because of the very unique nature of the property, the applicant, the actual president or vice president of the company, is here to answer any kind of those technical use questions that you may have for him.
Good.
Oh, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you. The applicant, Terry Malone, would you care to make some comments?
I am the president of the company. I've been with the company for 13 years since we started. The company has been growing a lot, and we have moved any activity that we can build somewhere else. We bought a company, we bought a big piece of property in Tyrone. We just bought a big piece of property in LaGrange. But there are certain things that have to be attached to the production process, and this is one of them. This is the tank. We are asking for this setback for 10 foot. Just to make one comment is that picture is a little bit deceiving because where the tank, we want to locate the tank is pretty much flat with the production area. The area that you see closer to Dividend Drive is roughly 20 feet higher. So looking from the top, it seems that you're looking at the same thing, that you can move around, but you cannot move around an 80 feet diameter tank that easily. So
I
that's,
actually took a screenshot of Google Earth, you know how they do the street view?
Yes.
So that you can see how there's a berm and then the actual production area sits. It's really even hard to see from Dividend, but how it sits
exactly,
lower.
because the production area sits way, way lower than the street level. So that's why we have been looking at different options. Our contractor is here today, but this is the best option for us to build this tank. We don't want to go towards the front. That will require a lot of work taking care of that hill that goes up 20 feet up. Also may take care, we will have to remove some trees. We don't see any problem going west. Our neighbor on the other side is an unattended facility, it's a self-storage facility on the north side of the property. So, any questions?
Thank you. Don't go far.
Okay.
Is there anyone else? Did you have someone else to comment or no?
No problem.
Thank you very much. At this point, I'll open the public hearing. If you could have a seat, but stay close by. Thank you. At this time, I'll open the public hearing. May I, anybody who would like to speak in favor? Is there anyone who wishes to speak in opposition? Seeing none, I hereby close the public hearing. Council?
I have some comments and questions. We'll
Questions?
take questions first. Could you stand up? I'm sorry, I didn't get your name.
Juan Fritzsche. Juan.
One, I took a look at this, and comments that I have is, first of all, I know that you're in the oil business. Is this going to be an oil storage tank?
Yes, new oil, so it's new product.
Okay, so you've got that, and typically 80-foot tanks usually are about 30 feet tall. Is that what you're planning on for this tank?
We are going to replicate the design of the big tank that you see on the top right.
Yes.
So basically, the tank is going to look identical, but it's going to be taller because it's going to be bigger than that tank that you see there.
So this one here, you're going to be at same diameter, but a bit taller.
Correct. So if we wanted to squeeze the tank diameter, technically it can be done. We check with the contractor, but we want to go cautious, and we believe that that's a better design, just to replicate exactly what we have, slightly taller.
And I can see you going as an engineer, probably like I am. We go for those kinds of things. Can we stay within the setbacks by increasing the height of the tank, keeping the volume the same, and go down to the next size down of tank, which I looked up is about 72 feet for a typical tank? Is that a possibility? Because at that point, you're inside the setbacks and there's no further discussions.
I'll answer the question this way. Is it technically possible? Yes, but we wouldn't do it that way. Let me explain. Our options are the following. Either we get this setback and put that tank in that position, or we put the tank inside our property. That will limit a lot of crane movement, personnel movement, tankers, etc., right? We looked with the contractor of the tank, even when the tank is technically possible to be done, smaller diameter. We will not prefer that solution. We would prefer to stay with the solution that we have, and it works. There are many technical details that justify why the tank has to be that wide. So for that reason, we would prefer just not to build that tank.
So dropping it 8 feet is not preferable.
There are some things related to the product that has to do with turbulence.
Okay.
So the way you inject the product in the tank, you need a certain amount of distance between the walls to make sure there's not enough turbulence that may affect the product. So it's not only about the same volume, it's about the shape of the tank
Okay.
also.
Sounds almost like nuclear. You got to have a certain geometry for
Well,
that
it's
for
not
it to
nuclear,
work
but it's
correctly.
tricky.
Exactly. So what I'm hearing is that diameter changes are not in the cards. Is there any other place that you could put this other than cutting into your hill there and taking a lot of
No.
dirt out? That's
No.
the only thing. And that's really a matter of just money to remove the dirt, basically, at that point.
Yeah, yeah, there is no other way. And again, we have been squeezing our real estate pretty hard. This plant grew in capacity 2.5 times in the last 10 years. We are aiming to grow more. For the people that don't know, this is the most sophisticated plant in this business in the whole country. So we are trying to make it even better. And that's the only chance we have. I wish our property was bigger, but 10 years ago it seemed a big property. Now it's a very small property, but that's our only option out.
Well, Juan, we appreciate you being in our city, and we love having you here, and we're going to do what we can for you.
Thank you.
Juan, can you tell me exactly what this plant does? Initially, I thought this was a recycle plant.
Correct. So what
You're not taking this used oil and recycling it?
Yes, that's exactly what we are doing. So we are the second largest used oil, motor oil collector in the whole country. So we bring used truck,
Okay,
we recycle this oil into new lubricants.
right.
So the tank that we are applying to build is because we are producing more. Our tanks became smaller in relative terms because the production capacity went high, much higher in the last 10 years. And we really need to store more new product, and that's what the tank is for. It's for lubricant oil, if you will.
I understand. We did the same thing in the Air Force.
Mm-hmm.
We took used oil and we recycled it and used that new oil.
Yep.
I mean, that is new oil. But I don't remember the tanks being as tall as you were talking about. Maybe we had more space. I couldn't tell you how much space we had. Obviously, on the Air Force base, we had plenty of space.
Questions? Any further questions?
I have questions if you're done.
Mr.
Frank.
Giustadio, did you have any more questions?
Okay.
Ms. Brown?
Hi, Juan. You make reference to the process tower, which is on the one diagram and it's more adjacent to the building. Could you explain to me what the process tower is? Because it sounds like from what you've written that the location of the process tower is part of the problem on why you need to put the tank into the setback area. Can the process tower be put someplace else?
No, the process tower is what it is. It's like impossible to move. The problem is that process tower is an 86-foot tower, needs maintenance every now and then, and you need to be cranes behind the tower. And if we don't have the tank in the position we are proposing, you cannot bring the crane to service the tower. And that tower is the main piece of equipment in the whole plant. It's a $150 million plant, so that tower itself is probably a $40 million tower. It's working 24/7. It's impossible to move. It's the core of the production facility. And as I said, we need cranes to go behind, which we have today. But if we put the tank closer to the tower, then we will not be able to bring the cranes to service the tower during the maintenance.
Okay.
Suzanne, can I interject a question?
Sure, go ahead.
Is this a fracking tower? Cracking tower, I should say?
No,
For
no,
oils?
it's a solvent extraction tower, so
Solvent
basically,
extraction, okay.
there are two liquids. One liquid goes from top, one from the bottom. There is a counter current between two liquids, and the process happens there.
Thank you.
No temperature, I mean, pretty low temperature. It's not high temperature, high pressure process.
Further questions, Ms. Brown?
Yes, thank you. It sounds like your business is growing somewhat exponentially, and that's a great and wonderful thing. Based on that, would it be realistic or a possibility that cutting into that embankment toward the front of the property would be advantageous to just go ahead and remove that dirt, build a really big retaining wall, and give yourself room to put other, towers or tanks or whatever
Yes.
in that area? I mean, it's like, are you on the threshold at this point that maybe that should be done, and that would maybe slightly change the location of this tank, and you wouldn't even need the variance?
We are already, we have been working for more than 2 years now in what our next investment for the plant will be in the next 5-10 years. And that investment will need every square foot of that hill. So if we put that tank in that hill, we are preventing, basically putting an obstacle on ourselves to grow for the next 5-10 years. So, I mean, from the geometry of the property point of view, taking into account that it's an industrial site, and technically there's nothing valuable going on the other side of the fence, and taking on the other side that we will be basically putting an obstacle to the process of not being able to grow more. Yes, we could take care of that hill if this was the end of the production capacity growth, but this is not the end. And just, again, I want to go back to this, make this comment. There are certain things that we are doing to grow the company that we can do outside this site, and we are doing it outside the site. We are not asking for permission to do, things that we could do somewhere else. Unfortunately, that tank has to be connected to this process. There's no way out. And unfortunately, for us to be able to have some degree of freedom to grow in the next 5-10 years, if we put that tank in the wrong place, we are going to block ourselves pretty much forever.
Excellent.
Thank you. Any questions? Ms. Johnson?
Yes, I did have a couple. Thank you, first of all, for being here. Nice to meet you, Juan. I relate to you a little bit on the fact that when I moved into my house, it felt like a big house. And then we added 4 more kids, so I understand that feeling a little bit. I was curious about how much the actual tank is going into the setback versus where that wall is. How tall is the wall that's going around this?
Well, the wall, I mean, if we are not going to build such a big wall, if the tank goes in that position, how tall is the wall? Sorry? 25 on that side, right? 25, so this is...
Okay, so it's not like you have a very tall tower at the furthest point of this encroachment that you're making. It's like a 25-foot wall.
Yeah.
Is that, and that's what would be the closest to the cube smart
Yes.
there, not this actual, what did you say, 30-something foot tank?
Yes, well, it will be the tower will be closer to Q-Smart. So the tower becomes the containment of the tank.
What's closer to cube smart, the tower or the wall?
Can you answer?
Yes, it will be the wall.
The wall.
The wall is a self-contained thing. All the containment is within the walls of the house. So it's
Okay. Do you know how much of the actual tank, that's the larger of the two, how much of the actual tank encroaches?
Pretty small size, what, less than 10% of the tank? Let's say 20% of the tank.
And if I can,
No, it wouldn't be
Feet.
20% because you're only asking for 10 feet and you
Yes.
have, some of that, you have some distance there
The
between that
tank
and
is
the wall.
80, the tank is 80 feet diameter.
Yeah, I'm just saying, it doesn't look like the actual tank is encroaching much.
No.
Like more of it looks like it's
No.
the actual wall,
Yeah,
which
that-
is in lower
Correct. The
height
tot-
than
fr-
the
out of the
tank.
total footprint, of the platform of the tank, the encroachment is a pretty small amount. That's what I want to represent.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
basically, if you have a circle, you are basically taking a little piece of the circle on the top
Mhm.
that has to move into that space. But more or 80 or 90% of the tank will stay in our property.
Right,
That's what
right.
I want to represent.
All
You
right,
can
thank
see
you.
that.
And, yeah, and I think everybody else, like all the questions that were asked, those answered my questions pretty well, but I do agree, and, it seems like this is something that can only be done here. I appreciate that you're in industry and you're in Peachtree City and you're growing, and I believe it's important to support our industries.
Thank you for that. I want to make one comment is, apart from looking at the site, it seemed big 10 years ago, and now it's much smaller. Our restriction is the rail spur. So I was just maybe give some color on this. If the rail spur that we have on the property we could double it, which we try. We try to buy the property next to us to make our rail spur double. We couldn't get that done. We need more buffer between production and shipping. That's why we are building a bigger tank. So unfortunately, a rail spur that handle two switches a week, meaning the rail company used to come twice a week and maybe pick up 4 cars per switch. Now they are picking 8 cars per switch, 5 times a week. We are asking for a 6 switch.
Wow.
So we went from 8 to 60 cars. But now we are in a pinch because there's no way out to create more buffer. Right now, in long weekends, when we go through Thanksgiving weekend, we may have to slow down the production because we produce so much so fast that we don't have a place to store it before the rail cars come in to be picked up.
Thank you. Council, any last questions?
I have none.
One more question, sorry, one. Back to the diagram with the tank and how far it infringes. How much space is between the tank and the wall? And the wall is basically a containment wall
Correct.
as opposed to a retaining wall, correct?
Yes.
Is
I
it
would call
more for like leak or is it to hold the dirt back?
The double wall tank has itself contained within the 80 feet diameter.
Yes.
Okay.
The other is just the retaining wall, just
So it's to hold the earth back
correct.
Yes.
for that hill going to Cube Smart.
Correct.
And how many feet is it between where the tank is and the wall is? 3 feet. Okay.
3 feet.
Okay.
Council, can I get a motion? It is my opinion that we support our industries.
I
And,
agree.
and driving by on Dividend, to move this tank any closer to the road would be unsightly to the point of being unacceptable. So
Agreed.
I'm in favor of this. Can I get a motion, please?
I move to accept this variance.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Council staff topics, anybody?
I would like to talk about one thing, if I may, Mayor.
Certainly.
A subject that I brought up, and I just got a slight update from Justin, but I brought it up a couple days ago, and that is that Peachtree City has an ordinance that addresses a senior property tax exemption that applies just for Peachtree City. And I just wanted to talk briefly about it because I think there's quite a few people who don't even know it exists. And it does need to be updated, in my opinion. But just so that citizens are aware, there is a property tax exemption out there that would remove $5,000 off of your appraised value of your property if you are over 65 and have already been approved for a county homestead tax exemption. And if your household income is below $30,000. The ordinance for this was put in place in 2006, and the qualification numbers and the amount of the actual exemption was never adjusted since 2006. So in the last 17 years, the question that I've been raising is, even with normal cost of living adjustments, that should have gone up, both in terms of the $5,000 off the appraised value of houses when houses have doubled or tripled in value. Taking $5,000 off seems rather like not enough. And the household income level limit or maximum of $30,000 would have certainly have gone up. So one piece of information that I had asked for, Justin Strickland did tell me that last year we actually had 80 people here in Peachtree City who applied for and received this particular senior tax exemption. And I dare say that there are more people who could or should qualify for it, especially if we adjust the numbers. So I've brought this up, and we have not obviously addressed it as a full council, but I've talked to some of the individuals on the council about it, because I think that if we're going to be, I guess, concerned about our seniors who are living in houses or in condos or townhouses, it doesn't matter, but if they're property owners and they lose one of their incomes because one spouse dies, a lot of these people are potentially being forced out of their houses because of low income. And I think to be kind of like sympathetic to that, we should address it. Whether we can address it right away or not is an issue which I'm fighting against, of course. I think it needs to be addressed at least partially right away, but time is a factor, and I just want citizens to know about this. And if you are out there as a citizen and meet these qualifications, or if you know somebody who would, please spread the word, because although it's a minor adjustment, it is out there, it is aimed to help people, and if we can adjust it accordingly, it'll help more people. Thank you.
Can I respond to you real quickly
Sure.
about that? Just because Bob had advised me that y'all had a discussion about this topic earlier this week, and I'm dating myself when I admit that I was around back when the original exemption. Let me just say this, it's absolutely something that the city could do in terms of changing the numbers, but I at least wanted to give you a quick version of the process for it.
Okay.
Because it's not as simple as just adopting an ordinance. As a tax exemption under Georgia law, we have to do two things. One is council would have to do a resolution, and it has to be done with local legislation through the General Assembly, and then that local legislation calls for a referendum. In other words, that was approved via referendum back in the 2005 election, and so we couldn't really do automatic escalators and so forth. It's very specific to what the voters approved in the referendum. That can be updated, so don't take what I'm saying otherwise. I just wanted to give you the mechanics of the process. And then, of course, the question is, if you wanted to try to do something, getting it effective for 2024 is a challenge. Obviously, there's a window of opportunity to do something in this year's legislative session, and then hold the referendum as a special election this fall. If you wanted to wait and do it in connection with the next municipal election, of course, you have more time to do it. But I just wanted to give you the mechanics of it, so that I didn't want to tell you that this is the process in March and the General Assembly is getting ready to close down shop for the year. I wanted to let you know now, so that you guys can maybe hasten your discussions about whether this is something you want to do this year or next year, and give you the full picture.
Thank you, Bob.
Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Is this something we can look at?
Any other topics? Mr. DeStadio, any council staff topics?
No, ma'am.
Sir?
No, ma'am?
All right, do we have executive session?
We do not.
I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll
Second.
second that.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? We are adjourned. Thank you.